trying to get some food. So that was Seva in action through InDiaspora, and that's what has formed as the basis of our organization.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for doing that because, I mean, it's one thing to have your own company, to do things for your own recognition, your own success, wealth, and all of that, and then for your family. And then, of course, after that, it is for the world and for the people that need it. So before we go to the next question, Mr. Rangaswamy, what can people do, our listeners specifically, because our listeners cover a big demographic, right? Across gender, across race, across age. What are some of the things that they can do to get involved with InDiaspora?
Yeah, first of all, I would say just go to our website, indiaspora.org, and we have probably the best newsletter for the community. We cover all the news that happens not just in the US, but all across the world that are related to us, all the diaspora news. So I think the best way to get in touch with us and to get to know us is to subscribe to our newsletter. On top of that, once a year, we work with a group of nonprofits called the India Philanthropy Alliance. And through this group, we do 1 day of online giving, and that comes every March. So that's another way to get involved is local organizations and local nonprofits can all partake in giving back to the community itself. So it's 1 day of giving where you go in, we have vetted certain organizations, you put in their name, a dollar amount, your credit card, and the money goes 100% to those organizations. So there are many ways to get involved. That's just one of them.
Amazing. Dr. Sam, are you involved in some capacity?
Yeah, I have been involved, and every single time there's a show, I may not be able to travel because he does all over the world. He's a global person. Last week, he was in London to receive an award. But I follow the community very closely. I read the news every now and then, and I go and like the stuff on LinkedIn every single time I see. So I think chasing him is next to impossible because suddenly he's in London, next day in Dubai, third day in Delhi, fourth day in
New York. World personality.
Yeah, fifth day in Washington DC at White House. So I still have to learn how to develop so much energy.
Speaking of which, Mr. Rangaswamy, you do a lot of these selective speaking engagements. Can you share with our listeners a little about that?
Yeah, I get invited to speak to the community on many different topics. So, some of it is around giving, the concept of giving, why we need to give to our community and so forth. So that's a topic that resonates with a lot of people. Especially with the elders and seniors. They want to know how to give their time, how to give their money, what kind of nonprofits. So I do talk on those kinds of topics. I also talk to young people. We call them the InDiaspora Next Generation. And these are young people where they want to know how to have purpose in life, how they should build their career, how they should take risks. So I do a whole thing on what I call the 100-year journey. That's one of my favorite talks is to come talk to young people about how they're going to lead their 100 years of life with purpose, with giving, and so on and so forth. I also talk to a lot of entrepreneurs being here in Silicon Valley. Every week I meet with at least 2 entrepreneurs to give them advice on their PowerPoint deck, how to raise money, how to get customers, how to take risk. So I have plenty of topics to talk about because I've been in the Bay Area for 40 plus years and seen the growth of the Bay Area, seen when the Bay Area only had 10,000 people when I first came in 1982 to now over 400,000 people. So 40 times we've grown in 40 years. So I've seen a lot of things and I can be helpful to the new people in the community as well.
Amazing. And your podcast is also very, very popular, Humans of Bombay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's not really my podcast. I go on many different podcasts. And so I've done probably in the past 3 or 4 years, 40 or 50 of these podcasts for different organizations, for different podcasters. The one that was most recently very, very popular because I got recognized in the streets of the Bay Area was one called Humans of Bombay. It's done by one of my really good friends, Karishma Mehta, who has probably one of the best podcasts in India. She came over to my house, brought a crew, professionally did a podcast in my own home here in San Francisco. And that's been viewed tens of thousands of times to the point where I'm actually recognized when I go around the Bay Area. So really enjoy doing these kind of things for the community.
That reminds me talking about the lady that he's a lot into women empowerment and they have a specific item called heart check. So would you like to tell us more about heart check and women empowerment as far as the diaspora annual engagement is concerned?
Thank you. Yeah, there have been a lot of places we get invited to, a lot of people we meet, especially presidents, their teams, and one of my memorable times was when Prime Minister Modi visited Washington, D.C. a few years ago. I was honored to be invited to the state White House dinner hosted by the president and to be in a small group of people to have dinner with the Prime Minister of India and the President of the United States was very memorable. So the InDiaspora journey leads me to all kinds of places, all kinds of opportunities to present our community in the best light.
That is fantastic. And also, tell us about this Bangalore to Bonn to Beijing to Berkeley, 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I took a typical Silicon Valley journey. I went with a startup. Of course, most people in the Valley know that many startups fail. So I failed in my first startup. Then I went to a larger company like Oracle, got my teeth cut there, my work experience built up there. But then I went and helped take a company public, which was a company called Bond. It was a very successful IPO in the 90s, which then allowed me to kind of do whatever I wanted to do, which was initially to be an angel investor when nobody was doing it in the mid 90s, to one where I now like to build communities like InDiaspora. What can we do to give? What can we do to make an impact around us? And so really that's my goal. In the past year, every year I dedicate at least 1,000 hours of service, volunteer time of my own to the community, to specifically through InDiaspora mostly. But so that's built up a lot of hours of giving. And that's my way of saying to everyone, give back in any way you can.
Amazing. And you, Mr. Rangaswamy, have had the distinct privilege of winning so many national and international awards, right? I mean, for our listeners, some of them are he's been in the Forbes Midas list, the one with the golden touch, being ranked by CRN as one of the top 25 technology executives, on the Wall Street Journal, featured on the front page, and of course, the Association to Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business, the AACSB Influential Leaders Award. What do these awards mean to you? Like, do they keep you going? Do you, had you dreamt or wanted any of these awards? Or like, what do you think of these accomplishments or these accolades?
Yeah, I never really look back at all to see, look at all these things. So awards are a recognition of impact. That's the way I look at it. It's not about myself. Is have I done something for society? Have I done something for the community? And that's why recently I was honored with an award here in the US, one in Europe and one in India. I came back from that trip, but it was really about the community that we had created. So I accepted these awards not at all for myself, but really for our community. That's what makes me grateful and makes me feel proud, is really to showcase what the community has done. So to me, these awards don't mean much. I really accept it for the community at large.
Amazing. Speaking of the community, speaking of countries, speaking of nations, I know you alluded, and so did Dr. Sam, about to your meeting with President Modi. But can you tell us a little bit more about the interaction with him, maybe the kind of talks you had, a little bit about the future, and also your tete-a-tete with ex-US President Mr. Biden, and also you have had conversations with Mr. Obama. You've been to the White House. What, in your opinion, is the future of tech and of India-US relations?
Yeah, my first meeting with President Obama was really one purpose in mind, and that is, in 2015, we were approached to do a Diwali stamp because there was no postage stamp for Diwali. So I had only one agenda in mind when I met him was, Mr. President, how do we get a Diwali stamp? And so we had a 2 year process before that happened. And of course, now we have a Diwali stamp, which a lot of people still use. It's one of the best sellers with the postage service. With Prime Minister Modi at the dinner in the state in the White House, there was only one thing I can still remember, and that is there was a break between the different courses of the meal. And so people were getting up and moving about. And I saw Prime Minister Modi, and he told me to come over. And then, fortunately, at that time, President Biden had gotten up to go talk to someone, and Mrs. Biden had got up to go see someone. So Prime Minister Modi invited me to come down and sit next to him. So I sat next to him at the head table, and we had a wonderful chat about InDiaspora. But at the end of it, I knew Prime Minister Modi loved selfies. So I told him, PMG, can I have a selfie with you? He said, absolutely. And so I got to take a selfie after the conversation, which went viral. And so that was my highlight of the dinner with the Prime Minister and the President.
Awesome. So Prime Minister Modi seems to be like the kind of person Dr. Sam would be very good friends with. Because you're also all about selfies.
Yeah, that's the most convenient, right?
Absolutely.
Selfie is like you don't need too much obstacles, quickly get it done in seconds, and you get that gist and feeling. It may not be very media oriented, but it's warm, it's personal.
And it's on your phone. You don't have to request someone else
Yeah,
that, a photo bhejo.
Yeah, the moment you give it to somebody, they will have their own agenda, so you don't know what they will do with it.
So, Mr. Rangaswami, what would be your advice to the diaspora who are currently, suffering from so many issues, right? Like, especially in the industry today, there is, of course, layoffs that are happening, workforce reduction that is happening, but also a lot of these changing immigration rules and the anxiety around it. What's like your general advice to the community?
So there are two things that are working here. One is around AI. So AI is definitely going to have an impact on jobs in many different ways. So the way you deal with AI is you got to continually reskill yourself. That's the only way to get ahead of AI and the impact it's going to have on society. So you've got to continually think, what is a new skill that I can get? What is some new training I can get? That's the way you deal with AI. In terms of immigration and so forth, I think you have to really take this on in a legal way. So I think, we have to be very aware there's legal immigration and there are undocumented people as well. So you really got to make sure that, you have the right lawyer, you have the right case to fight the immigration system through legal means. That's what I would advise. But as layoffs happen, you need to really retrain yourself, but also that's why it's so important for you to build a network when you have a job, because when you don't have a job, that's the network you go to get help. So don't think just because you have a job, you don't need friends, you don't need to do things. That's when you really should build a network for yourself, help others. So when you need help, there are other people to step in and help you. So just
Very
keep
well
that in
said.
mind.
Very well said. I mean, I think we forget, right? Especially as engineers, like I remember when I started out, I didn't care about network. I just focused on getting my code right and getting the feature implemented.
Silicon Valley, we say,
Someone told me that.
in Silicon Valley, we say your net worth is equal to your network.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Speaking of training, I think Dr. Sam, let's hear it from the horse's mouth, which is you. How do you think strategism can help people train themselves in AI and other technologies to stay relevant in the current job market? And that would actually be our last question for today.
I think that companies are really trying to gear up themselves and get into the AI space, and we see a lot of um, things going on. One is the chip engineering, the second is the data centers that are coming up. And around the cloud, there's a lot of movement, right? So cybersecurity, cloud, AI, DevOps, blockchain, peer-to-peer networks, all these are my 2 cents. But I would like to hear from Mr. Rangaswamy, who is an expert in technology, and he's like got decades of experience to throw some light on this issue.
Yeah, what I would say though is use AI for yourself. Use AI as a benefit rather than let it be an impediment to you, right? So think of all the things you can use AI for that'll amplify your skill set, that will get you better known in media, that would actually make you look better on social media, whatever be it. See how you can use ChatGPT and how you can use Gemini or whatever, LLM you're using or chatbot you're using, to make sure you give it the right prompts, that you're using it to better yourself. It's not just a toy that you play with, right? So when you go into ChatGPT, you need to really think, what am I going to use it for that's going to make me better as a person? Okay. Just go with that in mind and not just mindlessly, ask it some silly questions, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a waste of time. Just go in to educate yourself, go in to promote yourself, go in to get a job, go in with a mindset that makes AI your companion and makes AI an asset for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I think with that, we are at time. I mean, this was wonderful, Mr. Rangaswamy, to have you on Zoom, but I think we would really look forward to the next time you can join us in the studio. Hopefully, we'll have more time and have more interesting conversations. But thank you so much. This was definitely delightful and also very enlightening. I for sure learned a lot. Dr. Sam, anything you want to say as a parting message for our listeners?
I want to say, listeners, I hope you really enjoyed the show. And Mr. Rangaswamy is going to be in the studio very soon with us, and we'll continue this conversation. And thank you so much for being on our show. We really appreciate it, and we're honored and humbled to have you on the show.
Amazing. With that, this is Archie Rosh signing off from Tech Chai along with Dr. Sam. See you once again next Tuesday, 3:30 p.m. Only on Areas and Philanthropy.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.